Hi everyone, my name's Charlie, and most of you probably know me through helping other people win PIP. I'm 17 years chronically ill, and I have a severe form of psoriatic arthritis. I'm sorry the lighting is changing, I don't know why. It's bad pain night, um, and I've just basically got a lamp for posh YouTube lighting because I live in this shed. Let's try. Is that better? No. Is it a bit better? No. Okay, we'll just stay in the dark. It's okay. Um, so I wanted to talk through arthritis in the jaw joints. So my arthritis, I got sick when I was let's just get on with the arthritis in the jaw joints because that's why you've clicked. So yes, this is me, and my specialist, whose hands you can see, is one of the few people in the UK that will freehand injections into the jaw joints. So my psoriatic arthritis affects when you do something called a joint count at hospital, and that excludes ribs and vertebrae. That's not on the joint count. So on average, I run with 26 inflamed joints and 11 swollen joints. And my worst areas at the moment are jaw joints, both sides, ribs, right hip is pretty grumpy, but not bad because hips are evil, to be honest. Right knee, hands, feet. My elbows are good. I wear elbow pads, but it's because one joint of arthritis, one joint of inflamed arthritis can give you fatigue levels of severe flu or COVID. So you can imagine with my 26 plus 11 swollen, fatigue is a real issue for me. So my elbows are actually in great condition, if I do say so myself, but I struggle to support my upper body. So I'm in my desk in what's called heart attack position. So I'm always leaning forward because of the pain in the ribs. So I'm pretty fucked up, to be honest. Normal joint, which, bone, we get it, bone. The blue there is cartilage. Cartilage, oh, I've learnt so much about cartilage lately. Mine is not good. Fluid between the joints. I don't know if you know this or not, but like that's normal. I'm not going to go into all the other detail because I've got some videos coming that are going to be really helpful and explained by someone that actually knows what they're talking about. So osteoarthritis, basically where the bones are rubbing together. And then rheumatoid arthritis, where everything is just really, really swollen and painful. A lot of you will be able to relate to that. So this was the best picture that I could find about psoriatic arthritis. You know what? Until I started working with codename Centurion, my physiotherapist, I didn't understand how different the different forms of arthritis was. So mine is damaged cartilage, inflamed joint tissue, fluid, bone damage. They're not happy joints. And what's really interesting about psoriatic arthritis is it moves. So I feel really lucky because it started off in one toe joint on my right foot. I'm right-handed, so my right side is worse. And for like a decade, it was in my feet. And you have no idea how much you wish it was in your shoulders or somewhere else, just not your feet because it controls everything you do. And it moved. And I much prefer it in my ribs and jaw joints than what I do my feet. And honestly, although I've got a video coming out about ribs soon, so I'll explain a bit more about that. And it might sound a bit weird I'd rather have it somewhere where my breathing's an issue, but I promise it's better than feet. It's better than feet. So let's look at the jaw joints. Obviously, the jaw joint. Now, what I love about this diagram is you see that nerve. Now, I didn't realise I knew there was lots of nerves in this area, but I didn't realize it was that bad. Now, when you get the injection, again, I don't know of anyone else in the country that does it freehand, like my specialist. And he has spent decades and decades and, he spent all his entire life studying to be as good as what he is. So I'm very, very grateful. When he does the injection, first of all, he has to, he will find the jaw joint, obviously very specifically. Then I have to open my mouth slightly So wait, let me come back to you. So arthritis in the jaw joint, basically, it restricts my mouth movement. It's as much as I can open my mouth. Is it? And the pain, I don't know if any of you have heard of TMJ. It's like you can get like facial pain, and it all links to these jaw joints. When it's, so for example, I'm really tense. Like, I don't know if you saw the video about the DWP, when the DWP investigate you for codename under caution. I was so tense because I was getting so grumpy about what was happening to her. Can't get tense because if I tense up, it inflames the jaw joints, and then it's headache across all of here. It's so painful, and I need it's once it starts, it's hard to stop it. So I'm always in pain with it. The pain doesn't stop. I'm always in pain with it. But when it is grumpy, what I class as grumpy, it's a vicious cycle. The pain is much worse, which makes you tense, which makes the pain worse. So you have to stop tensing the jaw joint for it to ease. But how do you not tense when you're in severe pain? It's very difficult. The best remedy is 3 hot water bottles, one for each side of the jaw joints, and then one for all the muscles in the top here, because they get so tense. So if you can get 3 hot water bottles on and force your jaw to relax, plus take your pain relief and try to not think about anything that makes you tense, you might be able to get on top of it. It's very difficult, very difficult. No eating, French stick, well, you can't get it in your mouth anyway. Anything hurts, obviously, because as soon as they're hurting without even moving. So, because I decline as the day goes on, there are times a day where, again, fatigue is what impacts my life the most. Pain, I can take pain meds. For fatigue, you can't take anything. Like, what can you take? So the goal is to treat the disease. But because I decline so severely, I just don't have the physical energy to speak. My brain fog gets really severe. If you've not heard of it, brain fog is like, I'm just gonna be blunt with you. I thought I had early onset Alzheimer's for 2 years, and I was too scared to speak to someone about it for fear of diagnosis. Whereas we need to be confident and speak because it's brain fog. That's what it's like. You just forget words. You can't get your sentences out, or you'll be talking and then your brain just stops. You just completely forget what you're saying. It can be really scary. If any of you are watching this from a pit point of view, brain fog doesn't count. No matter how bad it is, and trust me, I've had it bad. It doesn't count. It's not points. Even in communication, when we're not able to communicate, we don't get the points because it's not consistent. It's not consistent. It's very difficult. Was that a moth? It's very difficult, but you won't get points for brain fog. Steroid injections into the jaw joints. They don't like to do them as treatment. Ideally, what you need to do is treat the disease. Now, for some people, steroid injections work amazing. For some people, they don't really do much. You have to obviously try them to figure it out. For me, they work amazing. There's another steroid injection that they can give you into like your bum cheek. They do nothing for me. I've tried them like 5 times. It's just a waste of an appointment. It's a waste of a drug when I could get joint-specific injections. But the challenge is most specialists are not comfortable injecting into the joints that I have most inflamed. Obviously, it's more common for people's knees to be bad or shoulders to be bad, bigger joints that people feel more comfortable injecting, whereas mine are toes, jaws, ribs. The other joints are bad as well, but these ones are worse for me. Oh, and you know the diagram with the nerve? So when you inject, sometimes if the nerve is touched, then your eye and this area of your face just becomes, it just starts moving on its own. It's freaky. It's a bit scary. So I understand that when we inject into the jaw joints, that's a risk, and it only lasts for like a minute or so. And it's not even the needle clipping it. It could be when he injects the fluid that could like aggravate the nerve. So there's lots of nerves here. So, specialists don't really like touching this area. Again, I'm very, very lucky because my specialist is, you know, Yoda level. So let's have a look at the photos. So what he's doing here is under his thumb is the jaw joint. He's got that. Now, I know you can't really see it very well, but my mouth is open. When he puts the needle in, my mouth has to stay open. My specialist is really into training and development, and so am I. So I'm like, but even though there's a nerve there, I have said, like, if he demonstrates to someone, they can practice on the other jaw joint. And when he was doing the training, and they were like, what if the patient moves? And he's like, you cannot do this if there is a risk of the patient moving their jaw. Because obviously if I tense or and close the jaw joint, it'll snap the needle off. So I cannot move. The way he does this is he visualizes the joints. So he's felt it, he knows exactly where it is, and he's going to go in. And again, my job is to relax with my jaw joint open. This is a good picture, so that's my mouth fully open. Needles in, and he's about to inject the steroid in there. Now, in this steroid, it's good stuff. So it's a like bit of numbing, a bit of like I don't even know why I'm trying to explain to you because I'm not a fucking doctor, am I? It's good stuff. When you get these steroid injections, you really shouldn't do much for 24 hours. So in my case, like shut up, which is a challenge. So by the way, like when the needle goes in, like a lot of people are like, oh my God, this is nothing compared to arthritis. That needle in my jaw joint right now, he has to go at an angle as well. So if we go back to the joint picture, so you can see there, it's a bit of a curve. So he has to go in an upward angle. I think he once said to someone like a 10% angle, but I can't remember if I said that. Obviously, this is not a training video for injecting jaw joints. It's like, he'll be like, slight pinch, it's a needle, it's not a big deal. Like, it's not a big deal. Compared to arthritis, this is nothing. And you know when you get like a vaccine injected into your arm, a vaccine injected into your arm, and depending on what country you're going to, sometimes you can feel it when they're putting the fluid in. It's not that bad. It's not bad. I think when I say it's not bad, when I'm saying it's not bad, you need to take into account that I am in severe pain. I'm in varying levels of pain 24/7. My life is totally controlled by my condition. And I've been in this situation for 17 years. The first decade, no, the first decade was horrendous. It's really bad. It wasn't until new treatment came on the market in my 40s that I actually started to be able to get a grip of chronic illness and then evolve to the point that I now live with chronic illness in a positive manner, which is what my YouTube channel is all about. So I understand that when I say it's not a big deal, I still don't think it is. It's like what it takes to inject is like 30 seconds. The process is like, let's allocate 5 minutes because you're chatting to the doctor, getting ready and everything. For all that, for the benefits for 3 to 6 months, fuck yes. Obviously, you've got the needle going into the, sorry, I'll move the mouse. You've got the needle going into the jaw joint. Me, stay nice and relaxed, mouth open, don't move, needle fully in. And you don't like, again, it's a needle, isn't it? You know, all of us have experienced an injection at some point. Once you get the sharp pinch, it's not really a big deal, is it? I also inject myself. So I inject myself every 2 weeks, and I've used different types of needles. I've had to use needles like this. We currently have the pens where you basically stab it onto yourself and you don't, it's just really so basic. And I've used injections that were spring loaded. I did not like the spring loaded. I think the whole process was on those of once you've injected, it springs it at your body so you can't screw it up. I didn't like it. But yeah, so now we're about to get the good stuff getting in, and the good stuff is in the jaw joints. Success. Happy days. It was amazing. And then after that, I set off for Hastings, and I was traveling with codename Mr. Bedsocks. And to begin with, I was like, my jaw was it's really bad. But after a few hours, when the anaesthetic kicked in, or what, the numbing stuff in there, it was amazing. I did break a rule. I ate French stick. So- It was so good. I tend to have a really soft diet. Apart from the fact my fatigue's really bad, because again, I decline as the day goes on. So I use chunky cutlery. I tend to eat things I can pick up or use a spoon with. So my diet is very soft. I'm trying to think if you've got any other questions. I think one of the big things that I hear patients talking about is what I don't like about social media when it comes to PIP is people listening to bullshit. And when it comes to treatment is people listening to bullshit. Now, these work a treat for me. If you haven't tried them, don't listen to me. Don't listen to anyone else. You need to try it. It's really simple. Our bodies respond so differently. You don't know. You have to try things. And I get really frustrated when I see people turning down treatment because of what one person has said. Now, there are negatives to these steroid injections. There is negatives to every form of treatment. Of course there is. And you're not supposed to have too many. They don't like to do them more than once every 6 months. But I guarantee you'll be told by a specialist you're allowed one joint injection, like into your knee, once a year. That's it. Right? I had four in, no, one, two, three, four, five. I think 5 injections in one session. Now, my case is severe, right? It's severe. But don't be afraid to try new treatment. If your quality of life is poor, we have to be open. I believe, we have to be open to trying different things. You've got to figure out what works for you and what works for your body. You are unique.